Hello and welcome to this video as we continue talking about operating systems. I'm now going to give you a short tour of the Windows operating system. There are many different versions of Windows, the most recent ones being Windows XP, Windows 7, 8, 10, as well as Windows Server. When you first open your computer or when you first start it, the first screen that is presented is the desktop. The reason why it is called a desktop is because it is similar to the top of the desk in your office, where you have got all the files and tools that you need to access in order to work for that particular day or week. So from the desktop, we can access different functionalities, different devices or programs on the computer. These images that you can see on the desktop are referred to as icons. So an icon is basically a picture that represents a program. We can see Word 2013, Excel 2013, PowerPoint 2013. So each of these icons is representing a shortcut to the respective program. It is called a shortcut because the actual Microsoft Word is not on the desktop. It is somewhere on the hard drive, but this icon has got a link that opens that program wherever it is located. So in order to open a program using this icon, I simply need to double click on it and the program opens. Right at the bottom, you have what we call the taskbar. The taskbar contains shortcuts to programs that you'd want to access often. For example, I've got the Internet Explorer for Internet, the Windows Explorer, I've got my Windows Media Player, and then Opera for Internet again, and so forth. Your taskbar will also show the icon for the program that is currently running. For example, if I open the Microsoft Word application, you can see that at the bottom here, the icon for Word is now on the taskbar, and it is the one that is highlighted, showing that the Word is the one that is currently open. If I click on that highlighted icon, it collapses or minimizes the window. The program is still running. As you can see, the icon is still highlighted. So for me to reopen that window or to maximize it, I simply click on that icon again. So that is the other function of the taskbar. It shows you all the applications that are currently running. So if we run another application, let's say PowerPoint, it will now put the icon for PowerPoint at the bottom. And for me to switch between these programs, I simply click on the icon for the program that I would like to become active at that particular time. Earlier, we were talking about a multitasking operating system. We said it is a system that can perform more than one task at a time. allowing us to run 2 or more programs, and if we need to switch from one to the other, we don't have to close the one that is open. We simply click or activate the one that we want to now work on. I'm going to select this Microsoft Word to activate it. I just want to illustrate a few buttons that you can use to control the window. So these buttons are found on every window that you open on the Windows operating system. So it doesn't matter which program or function you are working in, you will find these 3 buttons on any window. So in this case, we've got the Microsoft Word window, which is open here. At the top right corner, there are 3 icons. The first one says minimize, and it looks like an underline. The next one says restore down, and the last one says close. When you minimize, you are collapsing the window so that it only appears on the taskbar, but it no longer appears on this active window here. So when you click here, it is the same as clicking down there. So when you click on the minimize button, we collapse this window so that it only shows down here on the taskbar. Same thing, if I activated the PowerPoint window, I can also minimize it. So you can see that currently, whichever window you open fills up the whole screen. But it is possible to work with more than one window at a time using this second option, which is restore down. So the restore down used to be called cascade. The restore down button reduces the size of the window. Now you're having a smaller window and you can see other things besides Microsoft Word. So when a window has been restored down, you can actually hold it on top here and move it around. You can also go to the right, left, top and bottom. There are handles for resizing that window. So you can actually play around with the size of that window. So this is something which you cannot do if that window was filling the whole screen. So you can now see that this button has changed. It is now saying maximize. So to maximize is to now make the window the maximum size. So observe that the maximize button has got only one rectangle on it. But when we maximize, that button now changes to 2 rectangles representing 2 windows, meaning that when you're in cascade mode, you can actually work with 2 or more windows. So let's cascade or restore down. So I'm going to reduce the size of this one to be approximately half of the screen. Then I move it here. Next, I select my PowerPoint and cascade or restore down. Now I can manipulate that window. So this is very important because sometimes you are working in 2 programs and then you'd like to copy information from one program to the next. So I can actually come here, type in something, and then copy it, right click, copy, and then I switch to this application, and I come here, right click, and I paste that information. So this is how you can work between two or more programs at the same time without having to collapse any of the windows. All you do is you cascade them. At times, you have a document where you cannot copy from using the copy command, but you want to refer to it so that you type in the next document exactly what you can see here. So if there was information on here that you wanted also on the next document, you can just have it open as a reference. Then you go where you want to copy that information and simply type it in, because you can see it on the other window. So that is the importance of this restore down function. It enables you to reduce the size of your windows so that you can have two or more at the same time on your screen. If I were to overlap these windows, now you can see that one is on top, the other one is behind. So for me to activate this one to be on top, I simply click on it like that. All right, the last button here is the close button. We have seen that when you minimize, that application is still open, but it has simply been collapsed to the taskbar. When you cascade or restore down, you are simply reducing the size of the window. But when you close, as the name implies, you are actually closing that application. So if I click on close, it now asks me if I would like to save this document. Because I've typed in something, it realizes I need either to save it or to discard whatever I have typed. If I want to save it, I'll click on save, and then it will ask me where I want to save it. If I simply want to go out or close without saving, I'll simply say don't save. But if I say cancel, it means I'm canceling that close command. So cancel simply takes you back to that program. Let's close again, and then now I'll say don't save. Now it closes the program, and you can no longer see the icon on the taskbar. If we do the same here, it will also show you save, don't save, or cancel. So let's say don't save. I'm going to show you how to create a shortcut for an application. I'm currently using Windows 7, but the steps are basically the same whether you are on Windows 8, 10, or XP. In all cases, if you'd like to find a program, you click on the start and you simply start typing the name of the program that you want. Like in this case, I want Microsoft Access, so I simply type Access, then it looks for all the items on the computer which have got the word access on them. So the one that I want is this Microsoft Office Access 2003. So I simply right click on it, and then on this shortcut menu, look for Send To, then move your mouse to the right and go to the new window and look for Desktop, Create Shortcut. So again, we right clicked on the program that we want to create a shortcut for. Then on the shortcut menu, look for Send To, then move to the right, then look for Desktop, Create Shortcut. Click on it, and when you now go to your desktop, you find that the Microsoft Access shortcut is now on your desktop. So you can do that for any program for which you need a shortcut. Next, let us talk about the Windows Explorer. So on my taskbar, the Windows Explorer is represented by this yellow folder. If I click on it, it opens the window for Windows Explorer. Windows Explorer enables you to access different parts of the computer. So like the name implies, it helps you to explore or to investigate what is on the computer. The left-hand side shows you the various places on the computer, and the window on the right-hand side is what we refer to as the detail window. Like for example, if I click on computer, the detail window now shows me what is in computer. If I go to documents, it shows me what is on documents. So this computer, or on some systems you'll find it written My Computer, is where you can find the various drives that you have on your computer. In my case, it shows hard disks and the number of hard disks, which is 3, C, E, and F. And then next, it shows devices with removable storage. So in this case, I've got a DVD writer, which is given the symbol D. The reason why the names of the hard drives start from C and not A is because on the very first PCs, they did not have hard drives. They had what were called floppy disks. So these were disks that were removable. So they were like CDs that you insert and you remove. So the PC would have 2 floppy disks, which were A and B. When hard drives were introduced, the first hard drive would now be C, the second one D, and so forth. So the operating systems were now designed to work with the first hard drive as C. Even after the phasing out of the floppy disks, the configuration of the first hard drive as C did not change. Let me see if I can quickly go to the internet. I'm going to open my Firefox internet browser and see if we can look for a photo of a floppy disk. So I'm now on the internet and I'm going to search for a floppy disk. So I type floppy disk image so that I see different images of floppy disks. The floppy disks were of two sizes, the 3.5 inch and the 5.25 inch disk. So let me take this image. So this one is what was referred to as the 5.25 inch, and this one was a 3.5 inch disk. So the 5.25 was completely flexible. It was like an envelope with the actual disk inside. It was flexible and you could actually fold it or bend it. But the 3.5 became known as the stiffy because it had a hard casing on the outside. So you actually needed to insert this floppy or stiffy into a floppy disk drive. So the disk itself was simply called a floppy disk, but the computer needed a floppy disk drive, just like you have got a CD and a CD drive, or a DVD that you carry around in your pocket, and a DVD drive that actually reads the DVD. So if I change here and I say floppy disk drive, so that we see what the actual drive looked like. So these are now examples of the floppy disk drive. So you'd now take that floppy disk and insert it here, and the computer would read. So you could actually carry your files in your pocket, in your floppy disk, and then use them on any computer that you can find. So all the operating systems like Microsoft DOS would actually be on a floppy disk because there were no hard drives back then. So back to our Windows Explorer, it enables you to open any of these places. And for example, if we go to any of these disks, you can double click on the disk and then it opens. Now it tells me this folder is empty, meaning there is nothing inside that disk. But if I click on the C, you can see that there is a lot of folders. I have got hundreds of folders because of the many different projects that I do. But if you go on other people's computers, you'll probably find only 2 or 3 different folders. But because I've got hundreds of different clients, I create different folders for them. If I want to go quickly to where my documents are, I simply click on Documents. If I want to go to Pictures, I simply click on Pictures or Videos. So the Windows Explorer literally gives you access to all the different places that you'd ever need or wish to go on your computer. In the next module, we are going to be talking about files and folders. In other words, the way that we organize our information on the computer. So we'll see you in the next module.